All right, Ghitu back with another historic Pauper run through. So I'll just show off the deck before I take it for a couple games. So this is Monored Kiln Fiend. I previously played a one-day tourney with the green-red version. So green gives you the Snakeskin Veil primarily to protect your Kiln Fiends and equivalent cards, or not equivalent. Kiln Fiend gets +3/+0. But I think for best of one, I just want to go all in and try to kill the opponent on turn 4-ish with an attack and a Battle Rage. So the Kiln Fiend, you just need one like Infuriate will be enough to be lethal. So Infuriate plus Battle Rage and Kiln Fiend is lethal, where you need a little bit more for these. But the deck puts on a lot of pressure really quickly. I am playing the Raking Claws, just a one of to have 5 double strike effects. I feel like I have enough trample where the downside of Raking Claws not giving trample compared to Battle Rage is negated. So I have these, and then I'm also playing Barge In. And because I'm playing Barge In and a little anti-synergy with humans, that's why I'm playing the one of Forge-Chanter over the Burning Prophet. These are the weakest of the creatures that pump when you place sorceries, or well, this one's prowess, so it's any non-creature spell, but these at least pump their power by more than 1, so that's why they're more of in the deck. I'm playing 19 lands. Who knows how much? Again, I think the hand smoothing effect of playing best of one is going to help out. And then again, having 12 cantrips, and then in a worst case scenario, if you don't have a creature, you can Ancestral Anger the opponent creature to try to draw out of a land screw. So let's take it. I don't know why it switched it back. All right. Probably gonna post a video soon of the Chatterstorm deck. I think I'm going to prefer to play this Chatterstorm over the Mogwarts combo deck. That way you can see an actual combo-oriented deck. So I think I have a really... This is an aggro deck. Yesterday I played Poison Control, and then I played the Grixis Zealot, and then I played Cycle Mill, so I feel like you can get a really good idea. One deck that I don't like playing, but it is a pretty good deck in the meta, is there's White Weenie Flyers, where you just play Flyers. And this is unfortunate. I think this is a mult of 5. Didn't catch how many times he mult. Yeah, mult of 5 from the opponent. So if he doesn't have removal spells, I'm going to be okay. It's one thing that you kind of are a little weak to, especially like a hand like that I had there, is where I had no creatures. Sometimes you just... all the creatures are at the bottom of the deck, and sometimes you might make a decision to mull into a hand that at least has 1 of your creatures. But with 2 cantrips in my hand, I was comfortable keeping it. And I think against a green deck, I think I'm going to be okay. Green deck relies on fight spells, so not only does the opponent have to get a creature with 3 toughness into play, he has to have a fight spell. Well, this can do it. So he has a good start. And then another interesting thing about playing mono red compared to green red is green red you always were almost a turn later because you wanted to wait till you had a protection spell plus your creature. Okay, so it's just cantripping. Where the mono red deck, there's no point to waiting, so you just kind of just go all in. So this gets it to 6 toughness. This is 8 toughness, so unfortunately not enough to kill this turn. I'm just thinking if I want to hold my Warlord's Fury for next turn. So what I'll do, I think I'll do this turn is I'll probably use one of the Battle Rages. So by the time that the Battle Rage resolves, my Crasher will already have 4 toughness, so we'll do the trample business if he decides to chump. But so let's go ahead and use it. This is a little bit dangerous because he could certainly drop a 3-power creature and then a fight spell right after it, or he could have gosh, I forgot the Savage Swipe, which uses the 2-power, and he just gave up because he saw the writing on the wall. All right, quick match. Hopefully we'll get some better matches. Unfortunately, the opponent had a mull, but it looked like he mulled to a pretty good hand. I don't know why he was so down. Maybe he just doesn't play removal, and then that's why. So yeah, so I was saying, playing Chatterstorm kind of as another kind of leg of the various archetypes that you can play in Pauper. There's other combo decks, there's infinite combo decks, but I think Chatterstorm is stronger, especially game 1. I think Mogwarts is stronger if you're going to play a best of 3, because Mogwarts can beat down. But it's interesting that all of the combo decks in, let's see, I'm just deciding if I want to crash through. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep the crash through, and then I'll just go ahead and cycle the work. I'll just cycle it right now, whatever. Yeah, so Mogwarts, or all the combo decks in Pauper are weak to creature removal, but Mogwarts can do a beatdown plan. But okay, so against blue-white, I think I'll just resolve my Kiln Fiend. There is a couple good removal spells in white that could get me here. Okay, so he's just developing his board. So I have the combo if he doesn't block, as long as I draw land, actually. So let's not block that. He might have the... so there is a spell that deals damage equal to the amount of creatures you have in play. And so since I didn't draw land, rather than crash through and try to draw it, I still wouldn't have lethal. I'll just go ahead and play my amplifier, but I'll go ahead and let him do it. So the white spell that's really good, it gives perpetual, loses all abilities, so it really does hurt Kiln Fiend. Even if I could save it with the Infuriate this turn, it would be useless to me, so I wouldn't even bother spending my Infuriate. And I think I wasn't really paying attention. I should have been, but I think that there were some pauses on the opponent's side, so I think he does probably have the card in his hand. So unfortunately, there's no way for me to be playing around this. Still no land, but I can give. So it's unfortunate. I wanted the first strike one this turn. It would have been more useful. But let's go ahead and do a crash through. See what I draw. Okay. So that's pretty good. So if he blocks with the Cloud Consider, what am I going to do? Am I going to spend my Battle Rage in the face? So I probably not want to do that. So I'm just thinking because I'm just clogged with Battle Rages in my hand. Do I want to walk into his removal? I think this is a little bit of a freebie here. So let's go ahead and maximize velocity on my Kiln Fiend. Okay. All right. Do I want to let my Ghitu Amplifier die to get him down a little bit more? I just realized that he has 2 blockers. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack with both, and then whichever one lives, I'll be able to... I guess I also have Infuriate in my hand. So do I want to spend the Infuriate to keep my Amplifier in play for another round? No, I think next turn I want to Infuriate plus Amplifier. So I'll go ahead and accept this trade and get in. I was taking too long. So I talked about that yesterday. Is if you just take too long, the opponent's just gonna get out of the thing. It's just unfortunate. I think you avoid a little bit of that, just like random like give up if the game is taking too long, by instead of making it interrupted wins, is have rewards that like you have to do it all at once. So like you can do up to 1 loss and you have to get 3 wins to get to the maximum rewards or something like that. Sort of like the decathlon was made. So it's, you know, you're trying to play a deck, you know, up to 3 wins and avoiding any losses with it. It sort of encourages people to stay in the games a little bit longer, as long as they, you know, they have 1 win under their belt. Okay, so no creature again, but I think yeah, see. All right, I'm getting a lot of daily wins, but I really just want a good match to show off the deck. So that was, first match was mono green, then we got mono white, it seemed like. Or no, it was blue white. Blue-white cantripping creatures. So that's the other archetype. So you could play white flyers with a little bit of enchantment stuff, like basically Ethereal Armor kind of is a pretty good card. And then after, so that's like a very aggro archetype, and you're not playing creatures that cantrip. So this is probably that archetype. Then the other archetype is play all of the creatures that enter the battlefield, draw a card. So it's like the pup. There's a couple 3-mana 2/1s in white, and then there is that 3-mana Cloud Consider in blue. And so basically you just cantrip, and then you have a couple of removal spells that are deal damage based on how many creatures. So this looks like a more enchantment based. So he's got a pretty good start. No Ethereal Armor. So the Ethereal Armor on the Hawk could kind of make this go a little bit longer. So I do have the combo, but he's going to block with his Raptor because it has first strike. So 2 blockers. Okay, yep. So let's go ahead and do that. Save my guy. And then do I want to Battle Rage rather than Reckless Impulse? It's my only Battle Rage. I'm going to go ahead and Reckless Impulse, so I'll avoid doing damage this turn, since it's not going to be lethal. So, okay. So next turn, I think I'm just dropping the Kiln Fiend and then probably playing Reckless Impulse again. Yeah, he's got a really good start here. So yeah, I'm just worried about the Ethereal Armor. And this guy has Vigilance. Alright, so since I'm not gonna go for the Battle Rage this turn, let's go ahead and check what Reckless Impulse has for me. Okay, so it looks like next turn is a go turn, so I can Battle Rage both of my guys. And then hopefully I draw 1 mana instant or sorcery. So this is probably not going to get cast next turn. Opponent, I actually probably would have put it on the Healer's Hawk to try to put himself out of reach. I guess it does have Vigilance. So, all right. So I think I'm going to go for it. Oh yeah, that means that I'm going to be in pretty good shape. So let's go ahead and see how he blocks. And again, by the time Battle Rage resolves, it will have 4 power. So this is going to be almost certainly lethal. I haven't done the math, but especially with him only blocking with 2 creatures, this is not going to work for him. Oh, I guess his first strike, let me just make sure his first strike kills one of my fiends. I don't get the second strike on the other fiend. So it only tramples over for 8, but the other one is enough for the crackback. There we go. Alright. GG's. So, shows the power, the explosiveness of the deck. I didn't even cast all my spells, and I still Crushed it. I'm drawing a lot of the Temur Battle Rages, which is weird. And then drawing plenty of my creatures. Alright, well these are very, very fast matches. So yeah, I was talking about the white archetypes that I don't really like playing, so you might not see that from me. But I may play the mono green archetype. Like I said, I think the mono green. So in this case, I already have 2 trample spells, so I'll go ahead and spend one of them, and then I'll keep the first strike spell. All right, this looks like a pretty good. So Ancestral Anger giving plus power is pretty good. So black, unfortunately, is probably going to be able to kill my first one, but Reckless Impulse should be able to dig me to my second creature. And he's tapped out. Interesting. Okay. So unfortunately, I can't punish. Not lethal. So this turn, I think I'm going to Reckless Impulse. Well, I have 2 Battle Rages, so I could Battle Rage this turn, and then I could Battle Rage next turn. In which case, I'd probably want to Ancestral Anger this turn, and then next turn. I guess it doesn't matter. I think getting in the damage first is more important, so let's go ahead and do this. And then the other thing is if I Ancestral into other Ancestrals, it's better. Alright, so I'll win over 2 turns if the opponent keeps kind of dirtling with his sacrifice game plan. Alright, yeah, so he just knows that I don't have lethal, which is unfortunate, but I think I still put the pressure on. I could also Reckless Impulse. No, I'm just going to stick to my plan. Alright. Just realized this turn I have less trample ability. Alright. Okay, so he's keeping up mana. So let's go ahead and see what I can impulse into. So I'm expecting it to die on the attack. Which is why these are nice, because they don't target. Alright, so I'll go ahead and do that next turn. So let's Warlord's Fury, attack in. Unfortunately, if he kills my Amplifier, I'm not going to have anything to use the Battle Rage on. I guess I could impulse into my haste spell plus a creature, or right now I have a creature. Okay, so let's go in. I guess I could have. Alright, opponent, what do you want to do? Chump, and then sack. So if I knew that, I guess I thought he was going to have something else, but I guess I gave him the option. So I probably should have waited to post-combat. So what I could have done is Warlord's Fury and just hold up the Battle Rage and then force the opponent to decide if he believes that I have it. But I was just so sorry he had a removal spell, but I didn't even see on board what he could have been doing. Alright, so I think I use one of these and I get one of the creatures down, and so I'll get the Festival Crasher down. Festival Crasher. And I'll save my cantrip for next turn because I'm losing my my other spells, so I want a couple spells to be able to play. Alright, sacrifice zombie stuff. But now that he's tapped out, I got a game on board. I don't think he can even present enough toughness to absorb the blow. All right. Well, since I'm not casting any other... Well, I guess I'll cast this cantrip first, but what I was thinking is I'm going to probably end up casting the Impulse. Yes. So let's go ahead and cast it like this, I guess. So now I can potentially get another... Yeah, this is going to be great. So, attack in. This is more than lethal. Okay, done. Let's just finish with style. Maybe the opponent might not concede and just let me deal the damage. Still had all these, a little bit of BM, but just to show the power, so put him to -13. GG's. All right, so these are going much more faster than my other like control archetypes. I think I'll do a couple more of these. Was that 2 of the same reward, or just was it glitched and it played them both at the same time? I wasn't really paying attention. I really only play other formats on Arena just to grind the daily rewards and the daily challenges. All right. Yeah, I think 2 Reckless Impulses means that I'll be able to find stuff. I'll go ahead and Satyr's Cunning right now. Maybe it can chip in for 1 or 2 points of damage. The reason why I play this card is it helps against edict effects. It's only like random, like 1 of in the deck. So I want to keep these in my hand. I'd never like impulsing on the turn that I had to make the land drop, but I think it's fine. Okay, and this is a little bit of anti-synergy, is you cannot cycle off of your impulsed cards. Obviously, you have to discard it from hand. So yes, you gain 1 life. Alright, next turn I'm going to have a pretty good attack. That's not going to stop me. Although it will make if I draw into a... okay, so this is looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and do this. So I wouldn't be able to Reckless Impulse into the Double Strike and Infuriate, so it wouldn't be lethal. So that's why I'm doing Crash Through to try to find the Double Strike spell. But yeah, this is a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's not going to be quite enough yet. This is +5 and this is +4. So I have this up to 13 power, but that's not going to do it. So I ended up in a situation where... let's go ahead and Reckless right now. It does not play around like 2 damage removal spells. Maybe that's... I get in 2 damage, but I keep my creature alive. I think it's worth it to keep my creature alive against a 2 damage removal spell. You know, like... I forget what it's called. Thirst or something. It's a vampire spell that gains 2 life and does minus 2. Okay, so I found my Double Strike, and I kept my cards that pump power, so this looks like the game here. I'll throw away my Satyr, I think. So let's see, let's do this math again. So this is +5, +9, and then +2 more, so +11, and then Double Strike and Trample. So yeah, so I'm going to attack with both. And that should be game. Alright, so I start off with a Barge In, I believe. Okay, then I go ahead and there's nothing that can kill it at this point, so I go ahead and, well, I'll just show him everything. Infuriate, Temur Battle Rage. And that's game. All right. So some random forfeits, but overall the deck is winning. Again, goes back to in best of one, any decks with very proactive game plans are going to be very powerful. So I think this is probably the fastest deck. I think it's even faster than like mono red, like Slag type, creatures with burn. I think this is probably faster than that. And certainly more resilient to like a little bit of life gain, where that deck just folds to just a tiny, tiny bit of life gain. All right, now I have to decide which spell I value more. And I think I value the first strike later on more, because I have this that will give my creatures trample. So, slivers, interesting. All right, this is again the worst of my creatures, but it's a creature. So I'm getting really lucky. He's, I think, almost every single game I've had a turn 2 creature. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Do I want to show the Warlord's Fury? Oh, I shouldn't have played a land. But yeah, let's go ahead and attack. Make the opponent make some decisions. I only have one battle range, so I don't think I want to go in. I'm losing a little bit of equity here by playing my land first. I'm not playing my spells before combat. Let's go ahead and use one of these right now while the opponent's tapped out. All right. So let's see. I forgot what these outlast and vigilance. So he's gonna have 6 defense. This is first strike. Oof. First strike is annoying. Can outgrow the first strike, so I can infuriate. Oh, and this one grows the toughness too, so that's one benefit. So I think I can outgrow it. Let's just attack in and do it up. So infuriate, battle rage. Okay, infuriate. Yes, I can definitely outgrow. Infuriate, battle rage. And the opponent lives because he was smart and blocked with everything, but now he has no board. And I have plenty of cantrips to attack in. So unless he deals with my creature, in which case I can kind of try to replenish with the Reckless Impulse next turn. All right, so let's go ahead and use my sorcery speed stuff first. Okay, yeah, he sees the writing on the wall. All right, I'm just tearing through the queue here. Kind of feel bad about this. Hopefully it's not too boring to see this over and over. I think one more game and then we'll be done. But yeah, let me know if any of those archetypes really interest you. I'm certainly could be convinced to play pretty much anything. Like I said, I generally just like to play any of the competitive lists, which all of the ones that I was listing are competitive. Self-mill, mono blue. Wish I knew what he was self-milling to. I guess it's probably terror. In which case, I'm going to crush it, especially because he had a really bad self-mill on the first turn. Alright, well, can you answer a Kiln Fiend turn 1 or turn 2? I don't think he can. He can probably bounce it for a couple turns. Yeah, I'm not going to commit then if he's going to hold up mana. He already shown that he has make disappear and stuff, so. Do I run out my Ghitu Amplifier? I have 2 Reckless Impulses. That's why I'm like valuing these less than the Amplifier. But let's go ahead and Amplifier. I kind of committed by not impulsing. Oh wow, it resolved. So he's Terror plus Poison? I don't know what this deck is. Maybe it's just like a random pile. Yeah, he gave up. He tapped out in the face of double Battle Rage. I guess I didn't have land to really power him out. All right, I think showing the deck, unfortunately, I don't know. It's not that fun to just be crushing things. If it was more on the line where people were invested in playing against the deck, I think it would be a little bit funner for me. I always like it when it's a little bit of a back and forth in mind games of, do you have the removal? Do I want to walk into the removal or not? Where these games where so many people are just conceding to an untapped Kiln Fiend is just kind of boring. But hopefully he realized how powerful it is. So there's definitely some very fast archetypes. You know, I think you generally forces you to have a removal at least on turn 2. Definitely by turn 4, this deck will kill on the attack. With 4 mana, with so many cantrips and other sorceries, it has plenty of room to kill. So yeah. So look forward to the Chatterstorm deck. Let me go and just check if there's any other archetypes that I wanted to show off. There is an enchantment-based archetype using, or I guess enchantments versus, I guess auras versus the adventure theme. So let's see. So okay, so the synth deck, I can take out. Although I think RB Madness is a better aggro-y burn deck. This is a fun deck. I have a couple videos on my channel if you want to check it out of what this deck is about, but it's about getting a 5/4 into play really fast, and it got an upgrade. Let me actually make that change over to the Essence Flux. Sorry if you were here for the Kiln Fiend deck. This is random upgrades that we get from. So normally it was Unearth the Fist Sphere and then Planar Incision it, but now you have access to Essence Flux, which was a downshift with Shadows. I hate this, that it lags out every time you search on the bar. But this is a fun deck. It gets big creatures into play fairly quickly, and then it controls the board with some madness removal spells that work pretty well. And then so this is the card that got added with the most recent release. You don't care about the spirit part, but the fact that it's a 1 mana blink your creature, so it works really well with this. And it works to protect it from removal because you get a cantrip every time you blink it. Works pretty well. I would probably add, since this is only 1 mana, with this being 2 mana, I tended not to want to play Muldrifter, but obviously playing a Muldrifter for 3 and then drawing 4, yeah, I had it in the sideboard somewhere, is also a very strong. So you probably start shaving these. I don't think you want to go down too low, and you bumping up as many Essence Flux as you want, as you've collected in your drafting. Yeah, I don't know what else you would cut. You like kind of like all these cards. I guess you could potentially get rid of like Terminal Agony, and then just rely on Debt to the Kami. So that's probably how I would do it. The Considers you kind of necessary to try to get your Modern Age and your Thrill of Possibility to combo with your Madness, your Fiery Temper, and dumping your first Sphere Gargantua. It's so hard to say. All right, well, that was just a little of a detour. Let me go back to the deck list. So I'll probably play that deck now that I think about it. There's Jun Zealot and there's Grixis Zealot. They're both, I think, pretty good. They're similar, though, in how they play. All the ninja archetypes, you can play ninja, basically any color combination. So blue-black, I think, gets a big bump because of Transit Slip. But Simic Ninja does get Savage Swipe, and the ninjas are 2 power, so you get a lot of 2 power things to combo with the ninjas. And then these random ones I've had prepped for the release of Shadows of Innistrad. So they're missing like the cards that I haven't collected for Shadows. This is the dungeon deck that I was talking about. So you can search up. Let me just go into it so I can talk about it. You can search up your precipitous drops with your Heliod's Pilgrim, but I was hoping that, so there's a much better card in Paper Shadows. It's a 3 mana return an enchantment from your graveyard to your hand, and it's a 3/2. So it's lower mana cost, and it beats down a little bit, because that's the difficulty with this deck, is it's just so slow at beating down. So you get a lot of value with this removal spell, and you can really charge it up. But it's just kind of slow. Anyway, so that's another fun deck that I might play. Oh, this archetype is very interesting. I think I'm missing some of the clerics because I don't like playing like go wide creature strategies because of in best of 3. But this is a really, really good archetype. So you play this is very similar to the MTGO archetype. So you play very low land count. You're almost all exclusively creatures, and you actually get the upgrade with the Pilgrim. And so this is probably a really good archetype in best of 1, but I didn't open any Pilgrims, unfortunately. So Avacyn's Pilgrim. So yeah, you would play all of these, and you would have to figure out what you cut for it. But basically, the whole point of the deck is you have Soul Warden and Lunarch Veteran that give you life when a creature comes into play, and then you use Marauding Bright Police to drain the opponent out. And then you have just a lot of just creatures that tap for mana or value cards. So like Winding Way is super turned on in this deck because you're playing such few land count and all the rest of the spells are creatures. So it generally hits 3 or 4 every single time you play it. So it's a very strong archetype. And then you have this huge board. You're draining the opponent every time you play it, and then you can crack in and then sacrifice yourself as Cathar to give your creatures enough damage to really punish the opponent. So that's another kind of unique archetype that I haven't played. So I'm just trying to find like unique stuff that doesn't play like a normal deck, I think. So be looking forward to those. These are some weird ones. This one I'll probably play just because it's quirky. It works really well against creature decks, and then it folds to any sort of control deck that doesn't have to play creatures. So basically it's built around, again, these perpetual cards, so it's unique to MTGA, which is fun. You give your creatures that deal 1 damage when they come into play Death Touch. So you play this, and then you give either of these in your hand perpetual Death Touch, and so when they come to play, they are a Flametongue Kavu, or I guess Murderous Chupacabra, and then you find the combo by playing the Faceless Legion and then finding the Familiar and then having one of these 3 creatures in hand. And that's why you only have 3 of these, is because you don't want it. You want your Faceless Legion to find your Familiar first. And then the other cute part is, so they have perpetual Death Touch, not just Death Touch the turn they come in. So you can trade it off and then Undying Malice or Feign Death it, and then it comes back, it kills another creature when it comes into play, and it's now in play again. So you traded it off because it had Death Touch, you brought it back, and it killed another creature. So it just buries the creature decks. It does take a little while to finish the game. That's why I put in this to gain a little life. And then this also works well with the creatures that have perpetual Death Touch, because you attack in with them, the opponent doesn't want to block. so they let the damage through. You ninjutsu this in, and now you have this in hand with Death Touch, and so you can snipe another creature. So it's a pretty strong against, like I said, only against creatures, and so that's why you play the Trespasser's Curse, is because the Chatterstorm deck just murders you. The Mogwarts deck just murders you because you don't have instant speed removal. I guess you kind of can make instant speed removal by feign deathing your creature and then deadly disputing it, and then you can kill a creature when it comes into play again. But yeah, so another weird quirky archetype that you can play in Historic Pauper that I'll probably bring later today. So sorry to go on this tangent, but I just wanted to show off that there's a lot of different things to play. And hope you enjoy, and then just shout out if you had any other decks that you saw that you wanted me to see play, or wanted me to play. All right, see ya.